One of the first people I met when I came here, and is actually one of the first peoples I met, were the Toms. Tom Oakley and Tom Bolin. And you know, they sit, when you first meet them, they sit really close, right next to you, and they get one ear each, and they take every minute and they use it wisely. But I tell you what, they started off with the very notion that is the foundation of the Tri-State Summit, in the notion of partnership, that when we work together to a common purpose, we accomplish a lot more together than we do when we get parochial and we divide that out. And it's really something that I remember, and I try to remember every day, because they always leave you with the notion, and you don't feel like it's an instruction until you walk away and then you realize it was actually an instruction. But if you're not making progress every day, you're not doing your job. And when we're working in the public interest, it's vital that we're making progress every day. Whatever the hurdles are, whatever the issues that come up, because they come up everywhere, there are always the way to find the things that stop you from making progress. And then if you work together and find the common solutions, you push through those things in a way that makes that progress. And I tell you, it's really an honor to know Tom and to have known Tom Bolin, because over the course of over 60 years, they have shown us all how you make progress every day. We make light sometimes of that local, that state, that federal partnership, but when I came to Missouri in 2015, just to give you a sense, we actually had a capital plan. The official plan in place was to abandon maintenance on 26,000 miles of road out of 34,000 under management at the state level. We have $125 billion of infrastructure in the state of Missouri that needs replacement. And I had $300 million a year with which to do it. That's barely even knocking the rust off our trucks, for goodness sakes. But in a very short period of time, when that FAST Act passed, we went to work to maximize, to take financial risk at the state level to match the risk that the federal government had made. The congressman made mention of it. The core funding hasn't kept pace with inflation, so general revenue transfers were put in place. So rather than a sustainable long-term bill, this was a crucial move for a 5-year period to get the nation moving again. And in Missouri, that's exactly what it did. In that first 5-year plan that I came in and inherited, we had 0 new construction projects. We had $1.6 billion over 5 years for investment in the infrastructure. What we were able to do after the passage of the FAST Act, and the plan that we have in place right now, is actually has 1,487 construction projects in it, many of which are in this region. It has 12,700 miles of lane miles of improvements on roadways, 685 bridges, valued at about $4.9 billion. That is all enabled by the congressional action that occurred and the work that was done with policymakers at the state level. Working together, we tripled the capital plan without an increase in taxes at the time, and we are putting that work in play every day. It's so vitally important that we work together as we go forward, and this is really going to be one of the focus areas. It's certainly the focus areas of the state departments of transportation, working with Congress, working with our state legislatures and our leadership in the states, the governors. We have a huge challenge ahead of us, and really the challenge is state departments of transportation is at this time to renew that purpose and urgency within the general public about the transportation needs of our country. Without that purpose and urgency, how do we help support the congressional action to take that hard move to make those investments? Ultimately, transportation is the key enabler of a higher purpose. It provides the safest system possible to provide the highest possible quality of life and the most robust economic opportunities to every American. The national transportation system is facing a long list of challenges, from increasing demand to the rise of extreme weather and the steady and stealthy impact of time and time value of money on an aging infrastructure. We can see evidence of these challenges as rising congestion, not only in our urban areas, not only in this region, but also in small and mid-sized cities across the country. We can see it in the flood-damaged bridges and roads. We can see it in how nearly a quarter of the nation's bridges are in poor condition. A quarter of the nation's bridges are in poor condition. That $21 million grant and the impact on the northern part of Missouri, that's going to replace 40 bridges, 20 in this area in northeast Missouri. Every one of those bridges is a single lane structure on a 2-lane road, slowing down traffic. They're all timber pile bridges, and I can tell you the condition of the timber is not good. We will eliminate that category of bridge. It's either weight restricted or in poor condition in all of northern Missouri. The congressman also mentioned the infra grant program to work on our nation's freight corridors. Those investments are critical. An $81 million infra grant came to the state of Missouri to replace the Roachport Bridge, and that has triggered, with the leadership of our new governor, Governor Parson, has triggered what will be about $700 million of new investment all across the state. Bridge work, road work, reallocated funds to each district. The Northeast District will pull an additional $20 million in the coming year that nobody thought was coming. That's the local leadership in the state capitals working with our congressional delegation in the nation's capital to the benefit of this region. It's really amazing work, and when many people think nothing can be done, we can't move forward, we can't make that progress, that's ample evidence that that's not the case. You know, almost a year ago, a round of other discretionary grants, the build grants, are bringing nearly $92 million additional dollars into the state of Missouri, all across the state in 5 different projects. Somehow investing in transportation infrastructure, which for so long garnered that strong bipartisan support, has kind of become a dream for another day. We need to renew that purpose. The Highway Trust Fund is nearing insolvency yet again, and we need that action in Congress to make that possible. But we have to use our own voices as a region to help support that effort, to bring that bipartisanship back so that we can solve these issues. It's really about international competitiveness in moving transport and supporting business in the economy. We're competing with the rest of the world, and they're investing in their infrastructure at a greater pace than we are. That FAST Act, as the congressman mentioned, expires in less than a year. You know, and as Congress considers the new authorization, we really have to focus on the urgent need for funding to shore that Highway Trust Fund up. And we are focusing as state DOTs, and one of the things we want to do is really come back around and renew a call to action on a nationwide basis and one of the most critical issues we face in transportation. You know, it's one of these things that we've grown comfortable with, and we need to stop being comfortable with it. Nearly 100 Americans dies on our nation's highways a day. I apologize. A day. 100 Americans die a day on our transportation network. That is unacceptable. This past year, nearly 37,000 Americans died on our transportation network. We need a national call to action to renew a focus on safety on the nation's highways. We also, through AASHTO, we're going to continue to push the role of Toward Zero Deaths and Vision Zero. These are national coalitions, again, that partnership with the goal of raising public awareness on the national health crisis of transportation. We want to continue to to advocate for advances in connected and automated vehicles, because this transformation and this technology is going to help us with those safety issues. It's going to move our freight and our people more safely and reliably. We need to continue to advocate for deploying these life-saving technologies, and we also need to ensure that we continue to reserve as a safety measure, as a transportation measure, a small portion of the cellular spectrum for doing that. Reauthorizing the surface transportation bill is also one of those things we have to focus on. We have to provide, state DOTs have to provide the support, and we have to work with Congress to make sure that new ideas that are coming through Congress are ones that we are willing to adopt and work through. As I'm reminded every day that we're in this business, that we have the honor and opportunity to work for the public's good, that we have to make progress every day. As the Toms have reminded me from the very day that I got here, it's really a pleasure and an honor to work in this industry, and we appreciate, and I appreciate, just how well this tri-state region works together, and how much easier it is for me because of the hard work of those that came before me. I really do appreciate that work, and I hope in some small way to advance the effort as well. Thank you so much.